All right, guys, Chef Philly's in the house.
Yep.
Boom. We're gonna knock one out here. This is continuing down our path on meal prep. Encouraging you to get some more veggies in your life. Get
Definitely.
the colors in there. So come right back. Up next are Philly greens. What do you got, Marcus?
We've got, well, this is kind of like what a typical week is like for us. We'll get a box of different greens, and looks like we got some kale. We got a couple different types of chard, and so we'll just kind of get into it, just chopping them up in like a rough chop, and then using a little bit of the bacon fat to kind of be the starter for getting these greens to like cook down. But I just love the idea of having, you know, something different every week. And lately there's been a lot of chard coming, a lot of different colors like rainbow chard, which is great. I'm trying to get my daughter to eat, you know, different types of foods, just keep introducing her to new stuff.
I love that.
Our rule is she gets to choose what she wants to eat, but we provide options and we always give her options.
Yeah. Maybe eventually she'll reach out for the rainbow chard.
She likes to reach out for the broccoli right now.
Broccoli, okay.
That's her deal. Yeah.
That's cool. And then this, are you leaving this in there all the way down?
The big stems of the kale I'll ditch. Yeah. And like even with like this, sometimes like I love getting the stems of like the chard, but the kale is just a little bit rough.
Do you do like a green smoothie at all? Have you toyed around with that?
You know, I've never been big on smoothies. You know, something I learned from like a coach, a fitness coach of mine a long time ago was that like the more you can chew and eat your food versus drink and consume it, the better. You know, it's so much of digestion and like begins in the mouth and begins with like actually like mastication and the saliva that mixes with the food. So, I mean, occasionally like in a pinch, I think it's fine to do that, but it does, you know, you miss out on a little bit of the nutrients when you're like, you know, chugging a bunch of stuff.
And then how it hits your gut, how it affects your blood sugar, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
and then also like just the satiation factor of like food. It's like if it arrives in your gut really fast, like your body, your brain chemistry and like neurotransmitters and gut signals don't have time to process in a way that they're supposed to. So you're like, oh, I'm still hungry. And it's like, well, because you just consumed it all so fast.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's fire these up. And then we're gonna go bacon fat.
Bacon fat first.
How about chili? Do you put much like chili powder in your stuff? Or?
Yeah, I really like chili. And again, back to the box. I keep talking about the veggie box, which I encourage people to do.
Yeah.
If they have something
CSA
available.
program.
CSA program. But you know, like we'll get some like Fresno chilies or Serrano chilies that get tossed in there, and those would be great to start off a dish like this with. For sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
Do you want to put like how about heat? Do you do Serranos or?
That's perfect. That's
you
a
want
good.
to throw a couple of those in there to start this?
That's a good amount of heat.
Look at those knife skills. You see that, Jesse? Chef Marcus, just like I said.
I mean, that was pretty nerve-wracking right there. I was like, I don't want to slice my finger on camera. That would be bad.
You nailed it.
Lately, I've been trying to be like, you know, educate like the people in my family on like good knife skill, you know, techniques and keep them safe. And I watched my wife and she's got her fingers laid out there like this trying to chop, and I'm like, oh man, something's gonna go wrong. So I'm like,
you want to do a little of that?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that too. You had a good idea there. So I'm pretty like outspoken about that. And then, you know, the reality is that she doesn't have like the perfect knife skills, you know, and technique. She doesn't cut herself. I'm the guy that ends up cutting himself because like I think I'm, you know, this like super ninja over here with my knife, and I'm like going a little too fast. I might have like the right technique, but something gets me.
Well, no, if you tried her technique, you'd be screwed. Like,
I would definitely be screwed.
Stacy yesterday, she had her fingers out like this, and she was just going to town. I was like, holy, but that's how she does it, right? Right.
All
right, so just a little toast probably, and I think we're ready to start.
Definitely ready to start.
Greens. So I'm gonna grab some red, kale. Do a little toss just to try to get those seeds off the surface, maybe a little bit. Does that look about right?
Even? Yeah.
And then we got tamari here, do you
I usually wait a little bit on the tamari.
Okay.
After they've gotten cooked down a little bit, I'll probably hit it with some tamari, and then doesn't need much time after that. it's usually close to ready.
And what would you say overall? Like, how long is this going to take?
No, it's so funny. I rarely ever like look at the clock and time things. There's just like a sense of like, okay, it's done, it's not, but maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
Yep.
Anything, actually probably past 5, it's gonna get really like wilted and it's gonna lose some of that crunch.
Kind of like a braised collard green. You know how they like cook those down forever? We're trying to keep this like little spunk left in it kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm usually in that camp where I like want it to cook down and like, you know, another like thing that I bring to, you know, cooking is like what I know about the like the nutritional qualities and aspects of like digestion, and the more cooked something is, oftentimes the easier it is for people to digest. So in an age where people are like super stressed and they're trying to chew their food too, they're not chewing their food, like, well, if they're eating raw vegetables, like that stuff's landing in their gut like completely undigestible. It's not going to get through. So I'll often coach my clients to cook more of their vegetables and cook them a little bit more than they might normally, because it'll help them to extract more nutrients from it. So that is something that I tend to do, is cook a little bit more. But my wife likes textures more, and so she's always trying to get me to like keep things a little bit crunchier than I might like them.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the traditional advice would be to, like, you have the raw people, right? They want everything raw. But what you're saying is, I'm in such a hurry, I'm not going to chew this stuff enough to be able to get the nutrients out of it.
A little bit of that, but also that people's digestive systems are so messed up these days. People's digestive health is so bad that like if you pour a bunch of like raw broccoli and things like that into their system, they're not actually breaking it down. It's just going right through them. So they're like expensive, you know, bowel movements that are happening, right? Just like not digesting things. And so cooking, again, just makes it a little bit, like cooking the vegetables more can make it easier for people to extract nutrients and to actually digest their food.
I like it. This color.
And the other thing is, like with the vegetables, like if I'm gonna, again, prep these for like multiple days, these are gonna get reheated, you know, at another time.
Right.
So if I cook them to death and then I reheat them again later on, it's gonna be even more unappealing. So leaving a little bit of texture in there is good.
I like it.
Actually, the tamari could go in now, which would be great to get a little bit of steam coming up from that too. Yeah. We go to our farmer's market, which is literally at the end of our street every Sunday. So over the winter time, like we were getting, they'll bring in broccoli and they're chopping off broccoli greens and just discarding them. And then they were doing that with fennel fronds. And they were doing, like, there was just buckets of them. And they're like, hey, can we buy some of this? So like you can take as much as you want. So we were getting like, we were doing fennel fronds and broccoli greens, like huge batches, and it was like free. And we'd buy maybe, you know, a couple things from their stand, but and that can happen at most farmers markets. You'll like go to any of the produce, you know, people that are there and just look around for what they're discarding. Like they were doing cauliflower greens as well, and those they were charging for, but it was like $1 a pound, and so you'd walk away with this giant bag for nothing.
And then if you compare that to like romaine lettuce, like $2, $3 a head for
exactly.
Like no nutrition.
Totally.
All right, what are you thinking?
A little bit of that sesame oil, and then we can.
We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Woo. Finish with a little sesame. Good to go?
Good to go, yeah.
Okay.
You want to put yours down
Cut
first?
the heat, and then maybe we can put this meat in the middle on this platter. Oh, bomb, dude. Nice work. All right, Marcus, a little tag team action.
Yeah, totally.
Love it.
This is like a beautiful plate of greens right here.
If I saw that, or if I saw that on a buffet, I would definitely.
I think, I'd hang around the buffet for a while.
But we've heard it, you know, our whole lives. Eat your greens, right? That's what
right.
they say. So I appreciate you, you know, sharing this recipe. A great option, you guys. Just the conversation on like going to your farmer's market, seeing even stuff that they're discarding, like how much nutritional value it has.
So much.
The value compared to a head of lettuce. All right, guys. Until next time, make some gains and eat your greens.